All right, wonderful. So we are talking this week about, last week we talked a little bit about how the journey is nonlinear, the capital J journey. So that could be a lot of things, your practice, your faith, your personal growth, career, whatever. So it's a nonlinear thing. We think it's going to be, I start here, I see where I want to go, and I just make steady progress until I get there. But we found that it's much more like, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 1 step forward, 5 steps back, 7 steps forward, 1 step back. We have sort of this little dance that we're doing. And in many ways, this is represented in yoga philosophy by the gunas, which are the 3 forms. So we have our quick, dynamic, changing action, which is rajas. And that's what propels us. It's our inspiration, it's our energy. Then we also have the energy of tamas, which is slow, stable, consistent. It could be stagnant, but it's also consistent. So good and bad qualities to all of these things. And then the third quality, which we have in Eastern philosophy that we don't always have in the West, is the balance between the two, is itself a third energy called sattva, which is balance. And that's always what we should be aiming toward, is that balance of rajas and tamas. But it is a constantly flowing thing. If we think about how temperature changes affects H2O, we have ice, we have water, we have steam, and it can easily move back and forth between these 3 forms without itself changing. And that's the also the lesson of this, is that we really don't change. We just think that we do. We connect with the temporary parts of ourselves instead of the consistent parts of ourselves. So with that in mind, we're going to do some familiar poses that won't be challenging to understand or to cue, but we're going to try them in these sort of 3 different styles of like fast, dynamic, changing, energetic, and slow, restful, stillness, relaxing, and then some kind of balance of effort and ease between those 2 things. So we'll begin in Sukhasana, although if you have your little bolster, you can also sit on that to support the hips if you like. So just in our comfortable seat, let's come into what I like to call like practice mode, where we've let go of whatever's come before since we woke up this morning, and letting go of whatever might be coming later in the day, and just coming fully present to this moment. We're going to embody sattva, that balance, by incorporating all 3 elements of tamas, rajas, and sattva. So our pelvis, legs, and feet are going to be our tamasic energy. Find heaviness. Find stability, a sense of steadiness, a kind of anchoring. Softening all the muscles in the feet and the inner thighs. And then from that anchored place, we're going to start to travel up the spine and find a halfway point. So around our heart, or maybe our core, we're going to bring just a little bit of effort into lifting up the ribs, maybe a gentle effort in drawing the navel in just to support the ribs, but have a softness in the shoulders, a relaxation in the hands and arms. So we have effort here and ease everywhere else. And continuing our journey up the spine, we're going to come into our ragistic energy, which is movement, dynamism, change, fluidness. So by our next exhale, let's just drop the chin down to the chest, nice and slow. As you inhale, one ear toward one shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, other ear, other shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. And just see if you can find a steady, fluid movement where there are no stopping points, just kind of a fluid action that moves with the fluidity and constant flow of your breath. So we have our anchored tamasic energy in the low body, a balance of effort and ease in the mid body, and fluidity, change, dynamism, and energy, movement in the head and neck. Just a few more of these breaths with movement. And then we'll pause back in an upright seat, softening. Just take a breath. Notice that constant flow in and out of breath. Sattva as we fill with oxygen, and sattva as we let go of carbon dioxide. And then that generous receiving and flowing outward. From here, we're gonna start to find some twisting action. So we'll start with our more energetic twisting. Now this is a Kundalini exercise, it's a twist. And the arms are gonna come either out wide like a T, or a little easier would be to bring the elbows to roughly right angles, about shoulder height or so. And what we're gonna do is, as we inhale, we're gonna like lengthen up. As we exhale, we're gonna twist to the right. Inhale, center, exhale, twist to the left. And this can be as fast or slow as you like, but just like we moved our neck, see if you can not have any stopping points, but just create a fluid, constantly flowing movement. The challenge here will be to keep the elbows high. Notice how much energy is required for this. Whether you are comfortable with active, dynamic movements, or if you wish we were done with this already. Just notice, no right or wrong answers. See if you can take a few more cycles of breath, this dynamic, active twist. And then eventually come to pause, just take a breath, catch your breath, relax your shoulders. We've been seated with our legs crossed for a while, so let's extend the legs long. And we're just gonna bring the right knee to bend, right sole of the foot on the floor. That right foot can be inside or outside the left leg. And keeping that tall spine, that sense of anchoring in the pelvis, we're gonna reach the right arm up and over and inside that right leg. So we're just twisting the heart open to the left. See if you can find stillness, letting go of any adjustments that you might want to make, and just be really still and consistent. Watching your breath, noticing if this feels more natural or more challenging than our dynamic movement, just noticing. Next inhale, swoop that right arm big and out, back to the right. Inhale again, left arm comes up and inside, or excuse me, outside that right leg. Maybe the hand or the elbow or the shoulder comes outside that right leg, but just kind of notice where you can pause and find stillness. Letting go of adjustments, stable in the hips, effort and ease in the mid-body. Just holding. Notice where you feel sensations of stretch, or what we might think of as expansion, opening, space or flow. Next inhale, uncross your body, sweeping that left arm back to its left side, switch legs. Right leg extends, left knee bends, sole of the foot on the floor, inside or outside the right knee. Now we'll start with the left arm this time, sweeping up and inside the left thigh or knee. Pausing, finding stillness. Relaxing, anchoring through the hips. Effort and ease, softness in the belly, lifting the ribs. As we switch sides, bringing the right arm or shoulder or hand to the outside of that left knee, twisting open to the left, stillness again, consistency, unchanging, rigidness, structure. It's all tamasic energy. Notice even as we hold this tamasic energy, there's the flow of our breath, flow of sensation, flow of consciousness. Nothing is purely registic or tamasic. Everything is some kind of sattvic balance. But the closer we have to evenness, the more relaxed and balanced we feel. Exhale and release. Stretching both legs out. Let's just take a few little seated cat-cows here. We're about to start moving the spine forward and back a little bit more. And this is where we might start to use our support, whatever you've chosen, blocks or a bolster, maybe just having that nearby. And the first position we're going to come into is a child's pose. So We could just take this traditionally against the floor. You could also place the hips up onto your bolster. And as we take child's pose, a familiar shape, we're going to tuck the chin a little more than usual so we get a little bit rounder back body as we come down into child's pose. And this time we're still in that tamasic energy. There's stillness. See if you can find a bit of release or softening or letting go of effort, especially through the shoulders. Maybe through the breath, softening. Tamas, again, can be good or bad. It could be stagnancy. It could be a resistance to change or too much structure. But it could also be the structure that holds things together. It could be the quiet time and space of stillness that we use for inner contemplation and self-awareness. That's the dhyaya practice of yoga. So take these next few breaths in child's pose, looking within. Quiet and calm, not doing anything, simply observing. Then we can take what we learned from this inner looking and start to come to sitting upward kind of toward the heels. So maybe we're on our bolster, maybe we're back towards our heels. We're going to lift the arms and then sweep them down behind the body. We might just place hands on the floor or the bolster and bring the heart forward. We could also lift the hips here for a little bit more of a front body opener. So choosing what suits your body best, that lift or simply the lift through the heart. Taking what we've learned in our self-awareness, we're starting to shine that out. We're starting to open to new possibilities. Just breathe into that. Tamasic energy and stillness. This is providing stability and structure. Our journey. As you exhale next, release this front body opening. Bring your hands to the mat in front of you. And then lift your hips away from either the floor or your support, coming into a cat arch. Again, chin drops the chest. So that big open back body. This is a pose of humility, of looking within, of stillness. And we're going to find from here, we're going to walk the hands a little further forward towards the top of the mat and start to lift the chin, bringing the heart forward and the shoulders back. And if you're feeling it, if you're in a space where it feels safe for you, stick your tongue out and kind of give a little, this is a lion pose. So we're coming from that cat arch into the lion. Coming back into cat arch as we breathe in, exhale, lion. Take a few more of these. And maybe two more. Noticing the flow of your movement, matching the constant flow of your breath. And then we'll pause and shift back into our child's pose. So we have that stillness, that stability, that quiet moment to study the self, both the capital S self, which is worth contemplating, and the small s self, which is worth contemplating as well. Then we take that and we shine it out. Let's lift up into that heart opening pose, hands behind you. Maybe the hips are lifted, maybe they're still on the floor or your support. Heart is lifted, chin is lifted. Good. Stillness, steadiness. Feel the structure of your arms supporting you. Next, exhale, release this front body opening. Come back into our cat shape. Table first and then cat as the back of the heart opens. Walk the hands a little forward and let's find a dynamic flow between our cat pose and becoming the lion. Exhale, inhale, open the back body. Exhale, roar. A few more. Last round. Pause again in child's pose, letting your breath return to normal. We'll We'll come back up to a seated shape simply to change directions. We're going to bring the support that we're using off to the side. We don't need it for this next shape. And come down to relaxing on the spine. So sacrum, shoulders, and skull against the floor, soles of the feet against the floor. And just pausing for a moment. Take a big breath into your low belly. As you exhale, press into your heels, find a bridge pose. It doesn't have to be super high, just something that you can steadily hold. If the pose is affecting your breath, back off a little bit. This is as steady, we're trying to be as steady as we can be. We want to build a solid bridge from where we are now to where we would like to go on our journey. Exhale, release your sacrum back down to the floor. Softly, not too crunchy. Draw the knees into the chest. Maybe the sacrum lifts a little way off the floor. Release your feet back down. Take a big breath into your low belly. Exhale, bridge pose. Steady. Maybe we use our prop that we set aside, like a block or a bolster underneath, to rest in this shape. Even more steadiness, letting go of even more effort. If you are using effort, though, be as steady as you can. Slow, steady breath. Good. Exhale, release your sacrum back down. Take a breath in. Exhale, softly draw the knees to the chest. If it feels good, you can gently lift the head away from the floor, knees toward the nose. One more round, bring the feet back to the floor, big breath into your low belly. Exhale, and find your bridge, steady and strong, stable breath. This is the bridge we have to cross in our journey to head in the direction we're aiming for. And so many times we find that this bridge is out, or we have to find a different way, or maybe we swim across. There's lots of ways to get across the other side, but if we have a strong foundation and we can find steadiness in ourselves, that bridge is a lot easier to cross. Exhale and release. And then gather yourself in, knees to chest. You give yourself a hug, accepting exactly where you are in this moment. Good. From this rounded shape in the spine, we're going to start to rock along the length of the spine to come back to a seated shape. Just taking a few rocks here and pausing with the soles of the feet on the floor. Lengthen up the spine. Let's find softness, like a steadiness in your feet. Kind of grip the mat. Find that effort and ease balance where the shoulders are soft but the spine is lifted. Keeping this same shape in your chest, gently start to lean back towards the back of the mat. Maybe the toes lift, maybe the heels lift, maybe the legs lift. But see if you can not create any curve in your spine, if you can maintain that sharp, strong effort and ease balance. Exhale, return your feet to the floor. Take a moment, reset that spine. Then gently, slowly leaning back. Well, this is a sattvic kind of balance. I think most balance poses involve an aim for sattva, effort and ease. And what we're going to try to do now is move from one to the other. Let's find a dynamic rocking along the length of the spine. Feel free to round here. And then what we're going to try to do is, after 3 rocks, just kind of pop up into that steady spine. Feet can lift. So you can keep your breath steady and smooth. This is more like the reality of life. Balance, and then something disturbs our balance. We take that rocking again along the length. We try to find our balance, and as we do, we come into that sattvic state, resting on the sitting bones, effort and ease in the spine. Next, exhale, let your feet come back to the floor. Inhale, lift your heart, hands can come behind the body. You can come up into a reverse table if you like, or just open your heart, draw your shoulders back. Letting the feet come a little closer together and the knees a little wider. Maybe there's some support here. Take a few more breaths with the heart and the chin lifted, shoulders down and back. We're gonna curl inward, first chin coming to chest, shoulders coming in front of the heart, hands walking in front of the body. Maybe arms are straight as we look inward. Maybe we come down to forearms or bent elbows here. We're rounding forward, looking inside. Neutralizing the spine. Let's bring the soles of the feet back to the floor and come to a standing shape at the front of the mat. We're going to first find our sattvic balance through just a little bit of balancing exercises. So just standing at the top of your mat, find both feet on the floor, toes kind of active, soft at the knees, relaxing the tailbone down just like we did, finding that same anchor that we did when we were seated. Gentle effort and ease balance as the ribs lift with the shoulders soften down. Relax the hands, head. See if you can get a sense of both feet equally bearing the weight of your body. Just be present with that sattvic balance. Feel steadiness. Gently begin to lean your weight into your right foot. Slowly pick up the left heel and then the left toes. And we can either draw that left knee in towards the chest. Maybe we want to find tree pose for a moment. The idea is to take about 10 breaths or so, just kind of standing on that right leg. See if you can keep effort there and that balance of effort and ease in the chest. And see if your arms can just be fluid. Maybe they move a little bit, maybe they move a lot. But see if you can kind of find like the tay in the wind kind of movement in the upper body, gentle and smooth, while you maintain that steadiness in the lower body. After your 10 breaths, see how gracefully you can bring your left foot back to the floor. And then center your weight on both feet again. Maybe readjust your feet as needed. Anchor down through your pelvis, effort and ease in the chest, soft, fluid lightness in the upper body and the arms. Gently lean into the left foot. Right heel lifts, right toes lift. Knees can either come in toward the chest or maybe out to the side for tree pose. Find a steadiness, that tamasic structural energy in the low body. Effort and ease in the chest. And again, find some kind of, maybe it's just your fingers that move, but find some kind of fluid motion for your arms. Maybe your head can turn side to side, although that's challenging when you're holding a fixed balancing point. So just kind of notice what movement are you capable of while you maintain your steadiness. This is a sattvic state. See if you can hang in there for a few more breaths. When you feel balanced on this leg as you did to the other, well, again, as softly and gently as possible. Bring your right foot back to the floor. Find your steadiness and balance your weight on both feet again. So that was sattva. We're going to try to find two sun salutations here that embody our ragistic energy and our tamasic energy. So let's start with tamasic. We're going to find a lot of pauses, a lot of stillness, a lot of slow movement. So kind of imagine yourself like underwater or moving through something thick like molasses. And as you inhale, sweep arms out wide and above your head. As you exhale, slow motion, take a dive forward. Maybe it takes more than one breath to come into your fold. Once you arrive there, ground through the feet, relax completely through the shoulders, head, and spine. Feel the expansion that comes just from releasing and letting go. Stillness here. Bend in the knees and plant your palms. Step both right and left foot back to find downward facing dog. Stillness again. Once you find your position, try not to make any more adjustments. Just press a little more into the hands. Find a structure and steadiness in the legs and arms. But find that same sense of release, slothfulness, letting go through the head. Feel the heaviness of your brain inside your head. Pause. On your next exhale, find either plank or table, flat spine, whichever you choose. Lengthen, find a structure, like almost like a steel pole in your spine from crown to tailbone. Feel the structure of your arms supporting you, maybe your knees. Slow, steady breath. Slowly, slowly as you exhale, maybe dropping the knees to support you in a slow move down to the mat, front body relaxing. Wait for your body to let go. Releasing the hips, the shoulders, the breath. Feel the belly get soft. Wait for that release. On an inhale, gently lift the heart away from the floor. Lengthen the crown of the head away from the shoulders. Squeeze the shoulders down towards the waistband. And just see if you can pause here. Maybe your legs lift off the mat, maybe not. Maybe hands or elbows are supporting you. But lengthen, find that same rigidity in your spine. One more breath in. Exhale, soften again. Let go. Gently pressing through table. Once you arrive there, take a big inhale into the back of the heart, chin drops to the chest. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose, pause. How much can you let go here? How much can you trust the weight of your body to the floor? As you trust, as you let go more, feel how that expands the back of your heart. Maybe chin comes a little closer to the chest here to focus that inward looking. Stillness, letting go, passive. One more breath in here. As you exhale, we're gonna rise back up into table, tucking both sets of toes, press up, downward facing dog. About 5 breaths or so here. Try not to make too many adjustments. Find as much stillness and steadiness as you can. In the arms and legs, find as much softness and heaviness as you can in the spine and the head. After your 5th breath, step both feet forward to the top of the mat. Find a stillness to hang in your forward fold. Getting a sense of that tamasic energy, slow movement, stillness, steadiness, structure. How can this benefit your life? How is it detracting in your life? Just noticing as you look inward in this forward fold. Then slow motion, we're gonna start to bring the arms wide as we hinge up from the hips. Reaching upward, gathering up all that we've learned. Exhale, draw it into your heart. Prayer hands at heart center. Pause and take a breath. What benefits does that slowness have for you? Where is that slowness detracting? Just kind of notice that. And then we'll begin to embrace a completely different kind of energy. Lots of fast movement. We're gonna try to move about 1 breath per movement here. So, as we inhale, sweep arms up. As we exhale, take your fold. As we inhale, lift halfway. As we exhale, fold. Step back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Active breath. 3rd breath in. Exhale, finding plank or table, long spine. Big breath in. Exhale slowly and strengthfully lower yourself down. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, heart releases. Pressing back up into downward facing dog. 3 active breaths, really pumping the core. Stepping both feet forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hinging as we reach upward. Exhale, hands to heart. 1 breath in and out. Let's find the other side. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, take a dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Back to down dog. 3 powerful breaths. Exhale, find plank or table. Big breath in. Exhale, release your body down to the mat. Inhale, back bending. Exhale, releasing. Pressing up again through downward facing dog. 3 powerful breaths. And then stepping forward again to the top of the mat, finding your fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hinge and sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Feel free to release and relax your hands. Notice the stark contrast between these two flows. Similar positions and postures, much different speed, much different energy, much different breath. Which parts of that fast dynamic change, that spontaneity, that action is helpful to your life? And how much of that is detracting you or deterring you from finding your path? What we're going to do this next time is a lot less guidance from me. We're going to move through one more sun salutation, but rather than me guiding you through it, I'd like for you to be very present with where you might need movement and dynamism, where you might need stillness and structure, and to use your breath as a guide to aim for that sattvic balance of effort and ease. So just beginning with hands at heart center, find your flow through sun salutation. Remember to pause where you want to pause and flow where you want to flow, applying as much effort or as much ease as feels good to you. Notice when you start to slip too much into energetic or too much into sloth and start to make your adjustments, always in that dynamic flow, aiming for sattvic balance. Taking as much or as little time as you need. When you arrive back in Tadasana, just take a moment, close your eyes and focus on internal sensations. Notice any contrast that you feel for that third self-guided, flowing sattvic flow, rather than the super fast or the super slow. What elements did you take from each to find your balance? Kind of let that knowledge or that body wisdom settle into your consciousness, settle into your bones. And from here, we'll come back to a seated shape on the mat. We're going to come back to lying on the spine again. So just soles of the feet can remain on the floor for a moment here. Knees might fall together to fully relax and rest your legs, softening your shoulders down. Feel how that gently lifts the heart. We began our practice with some twisting motions in a seated shape. I want you to first recognize the characteristics of your spine right now. This is what we're always aiming for in a standing pose or a seated pose. But this time we can create that same lift in the ribs and softness in the belly as we just relax and rest into the floor. So sometimes the answer is more effort. Sometimes the answer is more support. Just let that question kind of sit with you for a moment. Where in my life could I use more effort? Where in my life could I use more support? And then also, as we open our hearts a little more, drawing the arms out wide, either to a T or a cactus or like a W shape, maybe even a diamond shape if that feels good to your heart. So we open our hearts to that. Ask yourself another form of that same question. Where can I give more effort? Where can I give
more support. Just open your heart and just let anything that comes kind of sink in. And then we're going to find some active and passive twisting shapes now. Just let your feet levitate away from the floor, knees coming softly into the chest. Maybe find some gentle flowing motion here, either circular knee shape or maybe side to side on the sacrum. Trying to keep your shoulders and your head as soft and passive and relaxed as possible, keeping that heart open. And then just applying effort to this gentle movement. See if you can find, again, no stopping points, but just continuous motion of some kind or another here. What part of you is engaged? What part of you is soft and surrendered, offered? Then coming back to center with the knees, we're going to just softly bring the knees over to the left, just about a third or halfway toward the floor. Pause. See if you can still keep your shoulders relaxed even as you apply effort in the abdominals. See if you can find a steadiness and stillness even as you apply this structural effort here. Exhale, relax back to center. Take a breath in and out. Next exhale, knees are going to come third or halfway to the floor on the right. Just kind of balancing on that right hip, softening through the shoulders, remaining anchored there. Balance of effort and ease, stillness. And when you feel balanced on this right side to the left, come back again to center. Resetting the spine however you need to, maybe finding that sattvic, or that registic continuous motion. And then we're going to find deep stillness, deep passivity, deep letting go as we drop knees to the left side, either onto a support or onto the floor here. Again, shoulders soft, anchored, and relaxed. Heart passive yet open, receptive, generously giving. See if you can just relax the low body as much as possible. Find that sense of steadiness and anchoring. Does this feel easier or harder? Comfortable or less comfortable than our more active twisting? Just notice these insights that we find in our practice are meant to help us off the mat. So again, the questions are, where can I receive more effort? Where can I give more support? Of course, the opposite. Where can I receive more support? Where can I give more effort? How is the flow of abundance in your life right now? When you feel ready, draw knees back to center. Take a little continuous motion and then find your way into your twist on the other side. As we noted, our path and our journey is non-linear. It has a lot of twists and turns, plot twists and detours. Are we remaining with our hearts open in those moments? Are we surrendered? Are we still offering our best to situations that come up unexpectedly, whether they're blessings or perceived as not? Is there still space for flow? Are there sensations of expansion and growth happening? Is there a sense of steadiness and anchoredness? Is there a balance of that effort and ease? When you feel balanced on this side to the other, wait for the cue of your body.
Start to flow back into a centered shape. And again, taking any movement that you might need. We'll start to move into stillness now. And I would love to invite you to utilize any extra support that you might need. If as you were asking questions, you thought to yourself, I could use a little more support. Maybe grab your blanket or your bolster, your blocks, find some way maybe to lift the legs and feet, or to cover the body for that sense of security or anchoring. Maybe just a folded blanket or pillow across the belly to give you a sense of grounding. Again, seeing if you can create that sense of a nice straight spine, gentle lift to the ribs, that openness in your heart, a softness in the belly, that anchoredness at the back of the sacrum as we create that effortless alignment in the spine. Crown of the head just sort of automatically in line with your tailbone as you rest in the floor. Maybe we use a little effort to tuck the shoulder blades underneath the body to actively lift the heart. Maybe we discovered that we need to apply a little bit more effort to find our balance. You should just notice the placement of your arms where you've just kind of naturally fallen. And decide for yourself, do I need a little bit more expansiveness? Do I need a little bit more openness to find balance? Do I need a little bit more security? Do I need a little bit more protection in my life? And just kind of notice how that changes where you'd like to place your arms, whether your palms are turned upward or turned downward. And then finally notice the flow of your breath. There is a practice called samavritti. It means same rhythm or same frequency, same movement. So if you can find that balance of inhale and exhale, it doesn't have to be exact. You don't need to count breaths. Just see if you can naturally bring yourself into that state of balance. Notice what this even breath does to the state of your mind. Again, kind of conjure up that ability to trust. Dig deep for your courage to let go, to release all effort and listen in that stillness. And notice that even as you find this rest and this stillness, there is still the beating of your heart. There's still that flow of breath. There's still the flow of consciousness and ideas and inspiration. Just kind of settle into that balance of stability and flow. Balance of structure and openness. Notice all the parts of you that are anchored in stillness. sacrum, shoulders, maybe the heels. Notice all the parts of you that are in motion. Where can you feel the pulse points in the body? Maybe not just the heart center, maybe the throat or the wrists or the belly, the temples. Where do you feel that aliveness and motion? Where do you feel energy moving? And just from this place of stillness, how much observation is possible? As we consider our journey, whatever that might be for us as individuals, we can benefit from stillness, from self-observation, from not doing. And we can take whatever we learn from these places of stillness and knowing and awareness and put those into action. We say, when we know better, do better. But we can't do better until we know better. These are both important steps. A lot of us are attached to action. Just feel the joy for the next few breaths of stillness, of not doing, of awareness, that gift of awareness. And let's begin to take what we've learned from these sessions of awareness, of stillness, and start to bring it into action. So very slowly, making a gentle flowing transition from stillness. Let the fingers begin to move. Let the toes begin to move. Maybe the head very slowly and softly begins to lull from side to side, looking around, starting to feel that call to action. And then notice what it would feel like to expand in all directions, to send that energy and wisdom and knowledge that we've gleaned from within and send it outward. Maybe we find a long stretch on the mat, or a nice wide, big, open star shape on the mat, finding a sense of expansion. Notice what happens to your heart and your breath as you stretch and actively reach outward. Just experience that, sit in that vastness for a couple of breaths. And then recall your questions of where can I receive more support? And start to pull some of that support inward towards the self, maybe curling into a little ball, everything coming in towards the heart to nourish you. Just hold that shape for a few breaths. When you felt that out, when you feel like you know it, soften into your side lying position. Just again, melt for a moment. Let go of effort. Let yourself be supported by the floor. Let yourself breathe into that open space on the upper half of your body. Feel the balance. Taking another silent, paused moment for that inner awareness, that stillness that is so valuable to our progress on our journey. And then once again, we put that into action by rising back to an upright seat, moving deliberately and slowly and mindfully from your passive side-lying shape back to seated. And let's again find that sattvic balance where we have that tamasic anchoring in the low body, the hips like an anchor, the legs and feet and inner thighs soft and relaxed, maybe even supported. And we find that effort in the chest as we lift the ribs, and that ease in the shoulders as we relax them down and back. At the very beginning of class, we found movement to represent rajas in the head, but truly the consciousness is always flowing. Mind is always moving. And we can direct that energy of the mind, of consciousness, any way that we find most useful. So let's take this moment and drop the chin to the chest and look within. Bringing hands together at your heart center.
This common gesture in yoga practice is twofold. It is the humble bowing to someone else, and it is the looking inward, recognizing the teacher both in the person to whom we bow and in our own hearts. That ever present teacher constantly flowing through stillness and action and drawing us into that is always leading us toward that wholeness, that balance. And when we recognize the teacher in ourselves and all others, we become of service. And so we close practice with this prayer. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy, healthy, safe, and free. Namaste.